Hey guys, so Merry Christmas for those of you who are still experiencing Christmas. It's almost over here in Sydney, Australia, where I live. But I am still in the festive mood. I'm about to watch The Grinch and Gremlins and a few other Christmas movies that I always enjoy. Because yes, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Fight me on it. I dare you. It is a Christmas movie, and so is Gremlins. And if you want a video on those, I'm about to make one, so please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. So as you can probably tell, my lighting and audio is not amazing, not that it always is amazing to begin with, I will admit. But I normally don't have it this bad, and I normally don't have a bowl of wooden fruit in the background, but I'm at my parents' place for Christmas, so please forgive me. So Wonder Woman, I was going to release this video tomorrow because it comes out in Australia tomorrow, but I really just couldn't wait to talk about it. So was it good or not? Unfortunately, I have to admit it did not live up to my expectations, but to be honest, I think I was anticipating this movie for so long. I think I built it up in my head to be something more than it is. It's a good movie, don't get me wrong, I did enjoy it, but I felt like it could have been better in a few areas. So for one thing, I felt like the runtime went for a little bit longer than was necessary. I'm not exactly sure how long it went for, I haven't looked it up, but it felt like it could have cut down on 20 minutes and still been a really good solid movie. And the score was good, don't get me wrong, but at times it sort of felt like it was out of place tone-wise, and it didn't fit with what they were trying to do in that particular scene. Like, there was this scene at the art museum and the music just seemed so off, and it just took me out of the scene completely. And the whole tone of the movie felt like it was a little bit inconsistent because it was so Avengers style, or Marvel style, I should say, really upbeat and making jokes, and then the next minute it tried to be too dark and too grounded in reality. And don't get me wrong, you can do both of those things in the same movie when it is done well. But with this movie, I just felt like it didn't really transition as well as it could have between the humorous moments and the more realistic, gritty sort of moments, because towards the end of the movie, they did have quite a serious tone to do with, I don't want to give away spoilers, but the main plot of the movie is quite dark. So I just felt like they really should have stuck a lane and just went with it. And I felt like it would have been better if it was a more happy, upbeat movie, because I felt like this year with COVID and everything that everybody's been through, we sort of needed that. But obviously when they were making this movie, they didn't know that we were all gonna be shut out of the movies for months and have a pandemic sweep the world, so I can't really blame Hollywood for that. So the other thing was, I would have really liked to see more focus on Cheetah and a little bit less on Steve and the whole love interest storyline between Diana and Steve. Don't get me wrong, I really do like Steve. I think he's a really interesting character, and I really liked him in the first movie that he was in. I felt like that was an amazing movie. But in this movie, it sort of felt like they were trying to resurrect him when it wasn't necessary, and I felt like his storyline was already wrapped up so nicely that he just didn't need to be brought back at all. So once again, I don't want to give away spoilers, but I will say I really enjoyed the opening scene. I thought that was a great scene. But I really would have liked... One thing I didn't like about the movie was how it was so much focused on the present. And then we saw a few flashbacks, which it didn't really go for too long, but the flashbacks were more interesting to me anyway. The flashbacks were more interesting than what was actually going on in the present time. I can't give away too much because spoilers, but so many of the flashbacks, I'm like, yes, I want more of that. I want to know more about what happened. And they could have incorporated that with the main storyline. Like, she tells stories of her people and things that have happened, and it never gets mentioned or tied into the main storyline. So it sort of feels like, why was it even there, especially in a movie that already went for too long? If it's not going to be tied into the main story somehow, why are we talking about it? Why are you teasing me with this really interesting storyline and then never bringing it up again? And also, I really, really liked the main message, which I felt was be careful what you wish for. Your wishes, it's a storyline that we've heard so many times before in so many different movies and shows. Be careful what you wish for, because your wishes might not turn out the way that you expect. And I can't go into too much more. I might actually make a video if anybody says that they want it, talking about spoilers, because yeah, this is a movie that needs to be spoiled to talk about. In terms of the actors, I really liked Pedro Pascal. I went into this, to be honest, not really expecting to like his performance based on what I saw in the trailer. But I felt like they did a good job of showing him more than a just really boring, flat, two-dimensional villain. They gave him emotions and a backstory. You saw some things that have happened to him in his past to make him who he is today. You see the more human side of him, and that makes it where you might not say, okay, I agree with what he's doing, but you at least understand why he did it. And I feel like with the best villains, that's how it is. You understand their motives. They're not just like some cackling madman doing it for no reason. Though, actually, I'm describing the Joker when I say that, and he's the best villain of all time. But anyway, the Joker is an exception. But apart from Pedro, I really liked, I can't remember the cheetah character's name in this, but I felt like she did a really good job. And I would have liked to see her character explored a little bit more than what it was, and to see what happens between her and Diana a bit more at the end, whereas they focused on Steve instead. So I felt like the cheetah effects were really good. I was impressed by that, but it really only went on for one scene at the end, and obviously CGI is expensive, so they couldn't put too much into it, but still. What am I saying? This is a huge Hollywood movie. If there's any movie that should be CGI budget focused, it should be this movie. So yeah, I don't know what happened with that. But yeah, I felt like all in all, it was a really good movie in a lot of areas. I feel like Gal Gadot is just the perfect Wonder Woman. She absolutely nails the role of Diana. But I did have a few issues. So all in all, I'm going to say B minus, I guess. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought of it. And please, as I said, help me out and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks, guys, and have a Merry Christmas.